This video outlines how to create and format figures in Excel. Firstly, I'm going to go create my figure. Now your data and your variables might be different, or they will be different depending on the analysis you're conducting, but the important thing is to highlight the data you want to create a figure for, then go up to Insert, and then choose the type of figure that you want to create. I'm going to create a bar chart, so I'm going to go Column, 2D, and Clustered Column. Now we've created the chart. What we want to do now is we want to format it according to APA publication standards. So let's start with the shading. I want to change my bars to be black and white so that they're distinguishable from each other but avoid color use. So I'm going to do that by clicking on the legend once, then double clicking on the variable color that I want to change. I want to change this blue bar here to white. Importantly though, if you're going to have a white bar, you want to make sure you have borders so that you don't lose your bar in the background in a moment. So first go border color, go solid line, and make sure you have a black border. Once you've created your border, you can go fill, solid fill, and I could leave it as black, but I want this one as white. So now you can see my bar has changed. To create the same formatting for number of subjective driving areas, double click on it, go border color, solid line, and black. Now I'm going to change my fill for this one to solid fill. I want this bar to be black. You could have changed it to grey, just depends on your data or your formatting requirements. So now that I've changed my bar colors, I'm going to click on close. And to change the remaining formatting of the figure, I'm going to go up the top here to Chart Tools, and I'm going to go to Layout. The first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of these grid lines in the background. So I'm going to go up here to Grid Lines, and where it says horizontal grid lines, I'm going to go None. And they've just disappeared, which is great. Now, if you want to add in error bars, the area to do that is here where it says error bars. It depends on the type of error bar that you want to insert, and for specifics, if you want to create specific error bars, you can go into the more error bar options area. I'm just going to add in for both of my variables though, error bars by clicking on the legend, go error bars, and I'm just going to get some standard error bars for this example. Now that we've done the shading, the background, we've got rid of the grid lines, and we've got some error bars, I'm going to now format my typeface. So I'm going to click on the two groups down the bottom here, and I'm going to go up to the Home tab, and I don't want Calibri, I'm going to have Arial. So I'm going to go to the drop down tab, click on Arial, and size 10 or 12 font is fine. I'm going to leave mine at size 10. Now I'm going to go to my scale and also change the font to Arial and make sure it's size 10, because you want all your font to be the same size or only slightly different. While you're on the scale, if you want to adjust the scale, double click on it, and in here in the axes options you can change the minimum, the maximum, the increments and such. Now for the legend, also want to make sure up in the Home tab that the font is Arial. It's also size 10, so that's fine. And now all our font is consistent. Now, another thing you might want to add in is some axis titles. So we don't have what the title of the axis is here, and we don't have the fact that this is age group below here. So back up in Layout, if you go to axis titles, you can add in your horizontal and vertical axis title here. So I'm going to go my horizontal title first, and I'm going to make this age group. Oops. You can do it up here, or you can add it down there. So, and I'm going to make sure that by going back up to Home that this font is also Arial and size 10 and not bolded. And now I'm also going to go back up to Layout and add in a vertical axis title. I'm going to choose a rotated title so it goes up and down. And you just click on that, backspace to get rid of that, and this is mean driving errors. Again, highlight it. It feels a bit weird highlighting it when it's going the opposite way to what you used to. And go back up to home and go to Arial and make sure it's size 10 and not bolded, because when you have font bolded it makes it difficult to read. Now that I've done that, I'm just going to change the last couple of things, like I'm going to click on my legend and move it up to the top right. If you are required to have a border around your figure, you can double click on the figure and go to border color. It already has like an automatic grey line around it, but if you want to have a black line, go solid line and make sure it's black. If you also have to have a line around your legend, a border around your legend I should say, click on the legend and go border color, solid line and black. And now you can see that both the figure and the legend have borders around them. But if you're not required to do this, or you're required not to do this, just click on the legend, go to border color, have no line. The same for the entire figure. Click on the background area, go border color and go no line. And then you can close. And now our figure is ready to be copied and pasted across to Microsoft Word to put in our report. So don't click directly on the chart itself. Click in the white space to the right of it and go copy. Go to the Word document, and below where you've mentioned the figure, in the next available space, you want to paste your figure by right clicking and pasting. Now my figure is currently centered, you can see in the paragraph area, but I'm going to move it over to the right and I want to resize it to make it a bit bigger. So to do that, you click on the chart and you can drag it from one of the corners to make it a bit bigger. The great thing about figures created in Excel is that they don't distort. And you can tend to edit them as well within Microsoft Word. Like I might decide here that I want my font a bit bigger, so I can change it in here as well. So now you know how to insert your figure. If you needed to move it though, you could always click on it and just drag it to new areas around the document as well. And once you have it in the location that you want, then you add in your figure caption. I already have one prepared from earlier. The figure caption provides information about what is in the figure. It explains the figure, and your figure will start with the figure number. It goes directly below the figure, just to mention that as well, not above. In tables, they do the heading above and the note below, but the figure caption goes below a figure. So start with the figure number, as I just said. Make sure it's capitalized and italicized and ends with a full stop. Then your figure heading component of the figure caption starts with a capital again. It's not italicized. And you generally write in small caps unless you've used names, like I've used variable names in here, and I've kept them capitalized throughout all my writing. So therefore I would capitalize them in my figure caption also. Also, if you have error bars, you include your information in the figure caption about error bars, or if there's any other information you need to include it here, and end your figure caption with a full stop. Again, if you need to check with your marking criteria what type of font you need to use for your figure caption, the manual has specific font requirements that are to make sure the font is clear, like Arial or Helvetica. So I've used Arial in this instance because the font I also used in my figure was Arial. But you can also check that if you're allowed to use Times New Roman. Sometimes students like using Times New Roman because it's consistent with all the other text throughout their report. So another point before I finish up is to make sure that your figure caption does not go on another page from your figure. If you have your figure on a page and your figure caption goes over to the next page, it makes it quite hard to have clarity when viewing your figure. So that's just the last point I wanted to mention here. If you want to watch how to create and format a figure using SPSS, there's also another video on Redbook for that. But otherwise, I hope this video has been helpful in helping you create and format your figures in Excel.